though it has been a little while. Oops, stop making so much noise here. It's been a little while since I streamed. This is, my name's Justin. This is AI for the Masses. And I am here to give you an update of my work on my game Story of Someone. Pivoted a little bit and kind of honed my focus more on... All right. Sorry, I wouldn't normally answer a phone during a stream, but we're under a tsunami warning right now. So I'm trying to I'm all prepared. I'm in high ground, but still just kind of making sure that I answer phone calls from people just in case anybody needs help. We already know that some friends who live near the shoreline are gonna stay with us just in case this does get bad. But I'm gonna try and squeeze in a little bit of an update. I just feel like I should, since I'm all prepped, I think I can kind of let my mind relax a little bit and just do a little bit of streaming, do a little bit of an update, and show what I plan on doing and what I've accomplished. So the thing that I have done is I have actually stripped away, at least temporarily, what I consider to be game development distractions. So right now, what you see on the screen is the dungeon, and I cannot leave. And also, when I start the game, let me restart again. The game starts in the dungeon. Why? Because I've been spending, in my opinion, too much time working on like the town and other various stuff that are just like not really part of the main gameplay. So I copied my code. I got Gemini to strip out the town and the overworld and other like various things that aren't specifically dungeon related, and I'm basically going to make a version of the game temporarily that is just a dungeon crawler. It's just going to be level after level of dungeon. I made my creepy little NPC characters, which one of them is wandering around this map somewhere. And I'm just going to focus on the fight mechanics. Yeah, there he is. So if I can make the game interesting and fun with purely a dungeon, then I plan on adding the towns and other things and story elements on top of that. But there's not really a game, in my opinion, until there's some sort of gameplay mechanic. And I've been spending too much time working on other things for good reason. Let's not call it too much time. I've just been spending a lot of time working on other aspects of the game, mostly to prove, for one thing, that I can make these basic concepts without a game engine and that the AI can handle these concepts. But now I'm at the point where if I keep working on those things, like making maps and towns and graphics and all these NPCs and things like that, I don't feel like I'm actually making the game. And as an indie developer, I have come to the conclusion that I need to make a minimum viable product. And the minimum viable product is not the overworld, it's not the town, it's the dungeon. If I can make just a dungeon game that is fun, that has some variability, has some scaling, has leveling, and other gameplay mechanics that are typically fun in a role-playing game, especially a dungeon explorer type of role-playing game, then that's a minimum viable product right there. I could put out an early access or treat it as a demo or something like that. And then I can add the town afterwards. Maybe do a DLC. I can add the overworld and then put multiple towns. I can have one town and have multiple dungeons around the town that you could go and play. So the dungeon is... All right. There we go. 1 hour to the tsunami. We're getting all of our alerts. All right, so I'm probably going to make this just a quick update. And I think I'm already kind of seeing that like people are coming home and things like that. So we're taking this one seriously. The earthquake in Russia is one of the top 10 recorded in history. So I am expecting that we don't actually know how we're going to be affected by this. Oh, I want to fight these slimes. Okay, I have got to make it where if I get into a fight with a slime and there's others there, that the multiple slimes are available. Let's go with attacking. So some changes. Hey, as anything. Thanks for joining. I'm definitely trying to squeeze a stream in before I need to call it for this tsunami that's headed my way. But some updates. I was talking just before you came on, is that I've made a version of my code base that doesn't have the town and the overworld map in there. It's purely dungeon. And because I think I've gotten to the point with development of the game's other aspects that if I continue working on the town and the NPCs and just other various stuff that is outside of the core mechanics of the game, it's starting to feel more of it like a distraction than actual work. So I made a copy of my code base. Oh, I hope the tsunami doesn't cause too much trouble. Strange to hear the 1 hour warning. Oh, you did get on just as that alarm was going off. Okay, yeah. I know, it is strange, and probably soon the air raid sirens are going to go off. Probably, I mean, I'm surprised they're not, I'm surprised they're not going off yet. I bet at least within 30 minutes of the first wave hitting, we're going to get the air raid sirens. But there's like heavy traffic and people that are evacuating the shorelines. We expect that the wave, even though it's coming from the north, will wrap around and even affect the south shores. So, they're taking this very seriously and making sure everybody is away from the shoreline, that nobody just gets curious or that there's no excuse not to realize what's coming. Yeah, so, see, now I've got leveling. I've got a leveling system. Can I make this, let me see if I can zoom this in a bit. Yeah, there we go. So, as you get experience points, I can add points to my stats. So strength, dexterity, constitution, luck. So strength should probably be obvious in that it increases my attack, but it also increases the amount of equipment I can hold. So there's an encumbrance meter, basically. Dexterity, that should be related to speed. And I think something else. I think it's my evasion as well. Constitution, I think, is defense, and might be my crit chance. I have to look at my code again. I forget exactly how I set it up. And then luck affects the overall chances of like missing and hitting full amounts, and how much gold you get and things like that. So I like, dexterity affects speed. I'm just gonna up my speed. So I've been adding a lot of various features to the fighting, and on my list, I think I'm going to try and check off one thing on the list in this short stream that I plan on doing. So I want to add, let's see, add default weapons to, okay, yeah, I'm going to review with the AI what my weapons are. Oh, here's another thing. I know I'm rambling kind of quickly here. Is I have a bullet time now associated with the game. So 2 changes I made with the fighting system. One is that if your meter is building up and it gets to a certain point, so moving only uses up 25% of your meter. Defense uses up 50% of your meter. And then you need a full meter to attack. However, I made it where instead of waiting until the meter is full to be able to do a turn, like for example, if I move, the slime was able to move too. Why? Oops, come on. Oh, pressing the wrong button. Because if you have at least 25% of your meter available, then you can take an action. So what I did, I just realized in my controls something I should change. So the slime is only able to follow me if it has at least 25% of its meter full. So I can actually run around. I am faster than this slime. And then, if I want, I can then attack, and that used up my entire meter. And then if I wait, I can attack again. I get my hit points, my experience points, and then I come out of the battle. So I only have a melee attack. I can only attack the adjacent square to me. So what I want to add is the different types of attacks, but I want them to be associated with different weapon types. So what I'm going to do is first I need to consolidate my code. And by the way, as anything, did you check out the local news link that I sent you? I felt like that might have been a little interesting to see the reports coming from the actual local news of the area that is prepping, instead of watching a national news, seeing it at the city and state level, the U.S. state here. Little cultural experience, even for Americans, like seeing local news in Hawaii is unique. So I thought you might have found that kind of interesting. Okay, so I consolidated my file, and then let's feed that to the Gemini. And where is it at? Sorry, I'm doing this on the other screen here. Okay, good. Right there. So first thing I want to do, I might have to refresh the page. Let's see here. Yep. Gemini's been a little buggy lately. I hope that's a good thing. I hope that means that they're doing like an update soon. All right, there we go. Turn my temperature down, put in my coding rules. And I'm going to ask the AI to review for me the special weapons that we had coded in earlier. I will say one downside to vibe coding is you can get so much done and then forget what it is, that like the details of what you agreed upon, since you didn't code it by hand. Okay, so in this code base, okay, at least the typing is being reasonably responsive. Oh, excuse me. There are some weapons with special abilities. For example, I do remember what some of them were. Example, the dagger has a speed guarantee when procedurally generated. It's like, it was interesting. We haven't had to deal with tsunamis in Australia, so it's all new to me. Are you using Chrome for the Gemini window? Actually, yes, I am. Yeah. So that is a good point to bring up. That should probably be using the native browser for the AI, if that's what you're bringing that up about. Yes, I am using Chrome. Yeah. Okay, good. Google prefers Chrome for all its tools. Yeah. I would imagine so. And I'm definitely not someone who is afraid of using all the Google stuff for sure. But yeah, good check for sure. That would definitely be like the beginnings of making sure that stuff works the way that you want it to. Okay, so for example, a dagger has a speed guarantee when procedurally generated. The battle axe is another weapon with special traits. Okay, so I want to give examples of what I remember. And what I want to do is I want to add a spear. So I would like to add a weapon called a spear that can hit 1 and 2 tiles. Man, I am all thumbs today. Tiles adjacent to the player's position. All right. I think I'll start with that. Also, I would like the inventory to be populated with a sword and a spear from the item generator sandbox. So I don't think I have had my procedurally generated item system actually generate anything that goes directly into my inventory. So this should be interesting to see what comes up. Let's have it be a tier 1 crude weapon. Generate a tier 1 crude quality random sword and spear. To be clear, the sword can only hit the adjacent tile from the player in the battle arena. I want to test the spear. Have the spear be equipped by default. Okay, I feel like I'm doing something that's been on my mind for quite a long time, like weeks, if not at least a couple months of that this is starting to kind of feel real, that I've got like a gameplay mechanic, like this game is starting to become playable. And now I'm starting to add in all the features. So some of the things that I plan on doing, this is probably going to take Gemini a minute to process since it's my first prompt of the chat window. So I'll open up the game again. Some of the things that I plan on adding are some environmental. And don't mind this creepy skeleton, this flesh skeleton, one of my skinwalker characters here. He's intended to be like a shopkeeper and maybe like an exposition NPC. Like maybe he'll be wandering around the dungeon or near the exit or in a room that you can experience, like talk to him, and he'll give you some stories about what the creature at the end boss might look like or something. So I plan on having a very minimal, like storyline kind of lore for each run of the game that is AI generated lore, and having a simple character show up periodically, probably just some little wandering goblin shopkeeper guy who can like survive in this dungeon without having to worry about actually being a warrior. And he'll tell me about how, yeah, you know, I've seen this creature and it's got like 4 limbs and 2 heads or something. And so I'll have a procedurally generated final boss that it'll be a bit of a mystery what the final boss is going to be, but this guy will give you clues as to how you need to prepare for that boss. And I want to add environmental hazards like empty pits, spikes, poison puddles. What was something else I was going to do? So there'd be the empty pits. Oh, rocks. So the first two things I want to add are like piles of rocks that you can't hit. You can't stand in that spot, but you can like climb up on top of them. And then there will be some like height bonuses, but you also can't hit through them. So a spear, if a rock is between you and the enemy, then your spear wouldn't be able to attack. So things like that. I'm just trying to add some environment to make the game more interesting and more tactical. Right now, only one enemy can enter the battle at a time, but I want to make it where if you're in range of 2 or 3 enemies simultaneously, that they will be in the battle with you at the same time in their relative positions to where you are. Let's say, for example, let me make sure you're seeing good. So, for example, the position my character is right now, let's say there was an open pit right here, right in the middle of this intersection, only in the center square. I don't want to get in a fight there. Then I plan on, when you get into a fight, so I'll get into a fight now, that the center, I don't know how well you can see my cursor, the center 4 squares in this area would be an open pit. Or maybe so everything is scaled up by 2. That is my intention. So the hallways right now are 3 tiles wide, but notice how the arena is 6 tiles wide. So that was to represent the fact that this is basically a zoomed in view of where I'm standing. If the corridor goes north and then it also goes east, then I will have open blocks north and east. If there's a set of spikes, then up to 4 spikes in that area will be represented in those 4 squares. Maybe there'll only be 1, maybe there'll only be 3. But in these 4 squares, that represents the potential of spikes. Okay, just making sure I'm not hearing anything. So I want to start adding those environmental hazards, and then I also want to add the ability to trigger a fight. So right now I have it set where if you get within 2 squares of an enemy, a fight automatically starts. But I would like it where you can basically ambush a creature. So if a creature is a type that doesn't really see you, or there's some directionality to its view, then like a slime, I kind of feel like a slime can just see you in any direction. I don't think a slime really has a front and a back. But let's say there's like some sort of a little creature like a snake or a rat or something. If it's facing away and you can sneak up on it, then you can ambush the creature. I also want to give the enemies the option to ambush you. So if they trigger the fight before you do, then they get a small bonus. Maybe their speed bonus is bumped up. Like maybe they can move immediately. And so it adds some tactics to that. All right, let's go ahead and see what Jim and I created here. All right, so I'll add the spear to the procedural item generator's data tables, giving it a unique stat priority. Okay, let's see. So it didn't give me the full file, so I gotta find core items, and then procedural item generator, and then how big is this file? It's not too big, so I can probably just find this method. Let's see. I don't think I have to control F. No, where are you? Oh, uh-oh. Is this new? Oh, it's a new method. Okay. All right. Cool. Ooh, what did you make that I didn't realize you didn't already have? Oh, that's neat. Unchanged. Okay. Wait. So we got generate weapon type. Yeah, I don't think any of this is in here. So, where do you want me to put it? It doesn't matter, but it feels like they're like, oh, everything else is unchanged. Like, so it should. Oh, yeah, I'm just gonna throw it at the bottom. All right. Oh, okay. So I think there are some stuff here. Unchanged parts. I think there's some code it left out. So where is this? Doesn't this stuff already exist in the code? Little confused. I don't know why this is saying unchanged part. I'm gonna have to ask it to just give me the entire file. It's not that long of a file, so give me the entire procedural item generator file. Okay, what else has asked me to update here? Okay, this one shouldn't be too bad. What's unchanged parts? Okay, new. Okay. Fight arena, sandbox, battle entity, and attack range. Okay, battle entity. So attack range should already be in here. No, it's not. So why are you telling me new on accuracy, evasion, and luck? Those are not. Oh, because those comments were in here. That is one thing that I don't like, is when old comments are brought in, but now I see, like, just say that you want me to add this line. Okay. All right. Not a difficult addition. And then fight context. That's in game states. By the way, as anything, you got any topics that you plan on bringing up in your stream, which anybody who is watching as anything is a full stack developer who streams regularly on a daily basis and has a different kind of workflow from me. Also is working on like a productivity. I don't know if I want to call it an app. It's a web app, right? For his business, that he can help anybody who's trying to get into vibe coding and do development and is struggling. He can help you out. And he has a system that he is creating live on his streams to help you communicate with him for any help that you need with your vibe coding projects. Yep, web app. Yeah, so as anything, you know, I believe you're going to be streaming after me, probably pretty soon. It sounded like that was on your agenda. Any topic that you were planning on bringing up, then maybe I could put my 2 cents in before you start your stream. Especially while I'm just sitting here copying and pasting stuff. Let's see. Oh, this one. Ugh. Do not like how it's giving me these updates. I think this is an example of where the way that you're doing your vibe coding as anything, where it actually shows, where Claude Code actually shows where it's like making the changes, like highlighting green and highlighting red, what's being added and taken away is more beneficial. So right now I have to like rely on comments to understand what it is that it wants me to add in. I say 80% of the time it's relatively clear. I'm a little confused because it's just telling me unchanged parts, and then it just has code. So today Gemini is not being a very good communicator, and so now I'm having to just be like, "Can you just give me the whole file because I don't understand what you're telling me to change." Give me the entire fight context.cs file. Yep. All right. Okay, and then this one should be pretty straightforward. Also, by the way, we got some people who they think it's too dangerous for them to go to their house with this tsunami coming, so they're coming over to my place to potentially even spend the night, because tsunamis sometimes can last a while, and so they might be hanging out for a while. If they can make it here, I don't know how long it's going to be till they show up. I might be cutting the stream off in a slightly more abrupt way than I normally would. Let's see. I'm setting up my stream now. I'm trying to think of a topic. Any ideas? I don't know. Yes, I do have. What came out recently that... how about the idea? There was a report of... They called it like the AlphaGo moment for, I think, like open source, like the Chinese AI. I forget the name of it. That so AlphaGo, is it AlphaGo or no, Alpha Evolve? I think it's Alpha Evolve, where the AI improved itself in order to solve some problems. So there is some new research that is come out that we're not sure how solid these findings are. That they may have come up with a new way for the AIs to like create an architecture that I guess is more flexible, and it can improve itself over time. And that the weak link in AI advancement so far seems to be now the humans, the human data and the human training and the whole all the feedback. So the reinforcement learning, I think, with the active engagement with humans is actually slow. And so, how do we feel about AIs being able to self-improve with the current state things are in? I think is kind of the maybe this week's latest buzz on AI. All right, me, I think we're okay for now. I feel. Oh, you feel skeptical. Can I ask what part that it? Are you skeptical that of its ability to self-improve, or like skeptical that humans are the bottleneck? But it's a good topic. I'm looking it up right now. Yeah. There's a YouTuber, Wes Roth. If you've ever heard of him, I can type his name in the chat. I really like how he stays up to date on research papers related to AI and does a good job, I think, of breaking them down into for like the layman. I mean, I don't think he's like any sort of a scientist or anything, but he spends time with the papers. I feel like he does a really good job of absorbing most of the knowledge and then has good videos and discussions about them. So he was talking about that in the last, I think maybe video last night or 2 nights ago. All right. Let's see. I am a Fight Sandbox Arena and then Game Logic Service. And is target in range? Oh, this is kind of a long file, so let me do. Is target. Okay. And yes, I can see. Wait, what is different? Sometimes I like to actually see. All right. There's an attack range now. Cool. All right. Let me copy that in there. So I have a feeling that I'm only going to have enough time to do this one update on the stream. Let's see if I can at least get this update in here. And then worldstate.cs. Let's see. this. Oh, there we go. 30 minutes left. Yeah, I'll show you what kind of what it looks like here on the. Got kind of delay on there, but that's what we're getting. It was crazy. I was in class with all my students, and all our phones went off all at the same time with the first tsunami alert. And like, uh-oh. And then about an hour after that, security started coming in telling us they were closing the campus, and we all had to leave. All right. Public player, good player. Okay, this is a good update. Alpha Evolve, in a nutshell, if you use the large language models in the right way, then you can get something provably new and correct in the form of an algorithm. Yeah, that's scary. Mm-hmm. Yep. Right? Self-improving AIs. Are we ready for that? So Alpha Evolve can eventually find new knowledge, and it has. So there's quite a few examples of things that it proved mathematical improvements. One is solving a matrix mathematics problem with complex mathematics, meaning it has like imaginary numbers and things like that. And we had a proven theorem that you could do any matrix math in this particular category. I don't know this, like a whole lot of details on this, in 49 steps. And I think we figured this out in like the 1960s, that 49 steps is the best version we could come up with. Alpha Evolve came out with a way to do it in 48. Now, going from 49 to 48 doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but we have been trying for like 60 years to come up with a better method, and then this AI found one. I mean, that's just tip of the iceberg kind of accomplishment. Also, and this is a Google AI, when it comes to math like that, with matrix math, that's what AIs and machine learning and robotics and everything is. That's the foundation of how these things run. They run off of matrix mathematics. And so if you now take, the how many GPUs, how many megawatts probably how many gigawatts of electricity does it take to do these calculations, and all of a sudden you shave off one whole step out of the 49, that is nearly a 2% increase in efficiency. Scaled at Google scale, that's millions of dollars saved. Easy. So that one extra new step, if they integrate that into how they do things, then they're ahead of the curve. If they have an AI that can come up with new mathematics, then that's incredibly powerful. There were some other geometric mathematics, like fitting so many shapes into another shape and things, that it came up with new solutions that humans had never come up with that were better. So the claim that AI has never created new knowledge is now untrue. Now, some people might still wave it off as being like, yeah, but it only did this. It doesn't matter. It is an untrue statement. If I'm understanding this accomplishment properly, it is an untrue statement to say that AI has not come up with new knowledge. So we're just getting started. And that was basically what you just said, as anything, and kind of stepped on your last comment there, as if I didn't just read exactly what I just said from you first. That you said potentially find new knowledge, and it did. Can't wait for AI to come up with new materials, physics, medicine, etc. I am particularly interested in the medicine. I would like to live long enough to see the new physics. So I would like the medicine to be, a little bit of a priority. should be able to just scroll on down. And let's actually get this. So I definitely got a lot on my mind right now, and I'm kind of watching outside because making sure that the friends that come over, they've never been to our place before, so they don't know exactly where to go. And I do see a car wandering around outside right now, so it might be them. Let's get this thing running and see if I can test out my spear. So I do have an inventory. I do have the ability to equip weapons and armor. So if the spear is in here properly, it should be pre-equipped, and I should be able to use it in the battle. The only thing is how do I attack across 2 squares? And how do I keep the slime? There's an error. How do I keep the slime from getting too close so I can prove the spear's capability? May have to tell the slime, make it where the slime can't move. I got these errors. I'll go with competitive obsolescence for my topic. A little less optimistic, but I think it's practical for developers. If you don't compete, you will be obsolete. Absolutely. Completely agree with that. I feel like that's always been my argument for anybody who has been, especially me as a teacher. Like, I actually teach introduction to programming, and I've been getting some pushback on letting students use AI tools or teaching them how to use AI tools. And usually the argument I give that typically shuts people up for saying, like, you shouldn't do that, it's irresponsible for you to be teaching them basically how to cheat, is, well, we're teaching them how, the skills they need to be competitive in the real world. So if I don't teach it to them and another instructor does, I have I've been a disservice to my students. They are not competitive. So I try my best to find a way that they still know and actually do know the fundamentals of coding while utilizing the tools to do more advanced problems than they typically would at that level of a coding class. Especially since I'm not confident that the instructors that they will have in the future for the next at least few years are going to teach them any of these tools. Because, I mean, as anything, I believe you and I have possibly talked about this before. We're extremely early adopters on this. So I know that there's I have one colleague who is actually on board and staying somewhat up to date with all of these AI tools, how to use them, and how to use them responsibly. Let's see. Everyone has been given superpowers. You might think that that super speed is cheating in a race, but anyone can go super fast, so they will. And they will beat anyone going regular speed. Yep, absolutely. I second that for sure. And I've been seeing that, especially with friends and even a family member who, oh, what? You're just giving me steps? You're not actually changing any code? Gemini, you're being lazy today. Giving me fragmented files and not telling me what is going on. You tried to run the project. Your first step down there for the code. So what? Do I need to do a clean? If you manually stopped it. Wait, the game was still going. Oh, was that all it was? Okay, maybe I yelled at Gemini too prematurely there. No. Really? Oh, come on. How was it even able to run when the game was still going? All right. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so I have friends and family. Yeah, all right. Got the spear that are anti-AI, especially with music. And oh, if you just make all this AI slop with these AI music generators and the music's not even going to be that good and all this stuff. And I'm like, wait. I'm not saying just produce music without really putting some thought into it. You do the same process you've been doing, because I have a family member who composes music, and he has songs in games, in actual video games, like arcade games and stuff. And he's been kind of I don't know about this AI music stuff. I'm like, look, you can use it for inspiration. It doesn't mean that you're not still writing your lyrics and things, but you'll hire a person to actually do the musical part because he's a lyricist. Okay, get away from me. I want to prove that the spear works. Okay. I gotta change the. Okay, here we go. Yes, it worked. Okay, so the spear can hit 2 across. Cool. All right. How much time I got? I got 20 minutes till the wave gets here. It's so weird saying that. Yeah, so I feel like when it comes to even like music composition or writing, like I have recently written the rough draft of a sci-fi novel, like the full rough draft, like 150,000 words, I think. Like it's 27 chapters long. That's as far as I got. But how did I write the book? Because I had AI super speed me through the process. It's still my words. I wrote all the words, as far as the words in my head are the ones that are in the book. But the AI helped me with all of the structure, the punctuation, any grammar mistakes I made. And I didn't actually have to type it out. I just dictated it and then had AI format it for me. So I was just able to take what was in my head and just put it out without having to think about all the other stuff. Did I put a comma? Did I close my quotes? Did I say he said or she said and things like that? I could just say the character is saying blah, 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 and then just say the dialogue. And then they twiddle their hair, and then they look over to the right. And then it would fill in the little missing nuances of actual narration and things and do the paragraphs for me and all that. I mean, all I had to do was just have my story, and I didn't have to deal with the crap. And I managed to finish writing the full rough draft in about 3 months. Now I pivoted because all of a sudden AI coding got really, really good, and vibe coding got invented. And I was like, well, vibe coding is a little bit more on the cutting edge, and I want to take advantage of this because I like coding. Writing a novel was just kind of like a new thing that I wanted to try out. And I'm pretty proud of what I have, but it needs a lot of revision. But I pivoted to the game because I felt like there's a ticking clock on this vibe coding, and a book is a book. So, but yeah, like, okay, so what do you say? I agree about the musician still being the creative agent. I'm still a developer. I'm just leveraging the AI to enhance and accelerate the process. Exactly. Good pivot, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree too. As much as I wish I would have gotten further, like on the revision before I pivoted, I don't regret pivoting. Every once in a while, I might go and like read one of my old chapters and do a little bit of revising, but then I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go back to the game. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Okay, I'm still making sure that nobody's coming over. All right. But you know, I do hope to publish the book one day. But you know, it takes a lot of work. But now there's great AI editors that you can use to make your book more what you call it, to make your book more like polished before you send it to the human editor. You should still send it to the human editor, at least for the not too distant future. But yeah, yep, these AI tools are amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna call this stream good. I accomplished my goal. The spear attacks across two tiles. Definitely check out As Anything stream, and As Anything, I'll probably be joining your stream if I'm not too entirely involved and what's going on in my world over here. But I might be babysitting some people. So, but you know, I'll probably chime in and at least say hi. Thanks for joining my stream. And I'm pretty confident that I'm personally going to be safe for this event that's about to unfold. But you know, I'll let you know what happens. Yeah. All right, cool. And thanks to you for joining, and for all of you out there, you know, keep being creative, use AI, and let's enjoy this revolutionary new technology together. See you on the next one.